One of the questions that I get asked the most often is, how do you contact the higher self? This elusive, almost impossible thing called the self within, the higher self, the inner self, the soul. How do you work with it, detect it, hear from it, speak as it, allow it in your life? How? People will tell me, I've tried all these different techniques. I chant for so many hours. I meditate for so many hours. I've been to all these great teachers and I can't do it. And then there are other people who'll come to me and say, but can it even be done? I thought it was only, one in a million people who could contact the self. Am I wasting my time? Is there any benefit to contacting the self? Why do I need to contact the self? So you find some people want to contact the self and find it impossible. You find other people say, why should I contact the self? What's the point of doing something impossible? And then of course there's the people who are like, what are you talking about? What is the higher self? Here's the thing. And I'm speaking from my personal experience. The higher self is you. It is what you actually are. It is not something to be earned, something to be achieved. It is not hidden. It is not some sort of mystery. It is not something that's beyond your achievement. It's not beyond what you deserve. It's not some mysterious thing. It is literally what you are. It is what you are. Okay. So if it's what you are, then how come it's not what you are? Because you have become lost in a false you. Thoughts flow through your head, and you insert the word I in front of those thoughts. And then you start to think that the thoughts are yours, that the mind that is thinking the thoughts are yours. And then you become reduced to memories, fears, anxieties, and functions. Because if what you are is your mind, then you are, don't forget to do this, don't forget to do that. I can't believe that woman told me that yesterday. I wonder what's going to happen tomorrow. And is it time for supper? Am I late for the meeting? You loop that on repeat, and that's what you are. That is not what you are. Those are thoughts that are occurring that you are aware of. But you spend all of your time in the mind. You spend all of your time placing your I there. I am thinking about this, or I am planning that. And you believe that that is who you are. And what has happened is that you have forgotten the higher self, the inner guide, all that stuff. We assign this mysterious, elusive, grand title to what you actually are. And then we say that the path is only if you're really worthy and only if you have the best master will you be able to contact the self. I contacted my higher self. I detected my higher self and started working with my higher self before I met any of the enlightened masters that I met, before I went to the ashram that I spent time at, before I learned how to chant, before I learned any sacred traditions, before I did. Now, I did years of earth-based spirituality with an indigenous community in North America. I did years of yogic studies. I learned Sanskrit. I learned the verses. I read the books, all that stuff. I did all that stuff. But you know what? I encountered the higher self before. All those other things, the yogic studies was to give me words and understanding to describe what happened to me. The um the healing and connecting and surrendering that I did in the indigenous traditions was to help me to remove the gunk that I was carrying in this earthly vessel. It was to purge the mind and the emotions and realign the body to the natural systems of the earth. But I did not have to earn contacting the higher self, and I did not have to be initiated in it by anyone. So we need to remove these barriers that we place, because we have to say that the higher self, the self within, is is something to be achieved. And beyond that, something difficult to be achieved is to reinforce the false identity that I am this one and that is something I can visit sometimes. It's not true. Okay, let me state this as clearly as I can. There is no higher self. It's the opposite way around. It's not you are the human and there is a higher self. No, 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 no. You are that thing. The thing that you're calling the higher self, that is what you are. And the thing that is the human is I don't want to say lower self because I don't want to insult the human experience. The human is the limited self, the constricted self, restricted self, finite self, apparent separate self. That's the aberration. That's the artifact. The truth, the constant perpetual place where you dwell is what we have decided to name the higher self. The thing is, okay, this is all, we could all draw diagrams about this and argue about it, but what it boils down to is, where do you live? What do you experience? Where do you get your guidance from? And is it from the limited human being who is a collection of memories, a projection of fears, and an identity that has been given to this human by its past and by the society? Is that what you are? Or are you the thing, the being that is experiencing that? And are you watching and guiding this human life, this human system, a system that consists of a body and a heart and a brain and a mind and emotions and energies? This orchestra, this system called the human, is being directed and under the influence and guidance of you. What you are is awareness. That's fairly easy to grasp. You're the one who is aware of this system. If you want to get into a better or broader concept of it, you are consciousness. And this consciousness that you are is one with the consciousness. There's only a consciousness. You are a localized consciousness. You are consciousness looking in one direction, and then someone else's consciousness looking in another direction. The reason why I'm saying this is because we're getting lost we create this unattainable self, and then we create a bunch of practices to get to the self, and we don't know why. And the thing is, the reason you want to get to the self is because that self, let's call it a separate, the higher self, is acting from a higher level of consciousness. The higher self understands the world beyond time and space. It understands causality. It understands what created the human. It understands how pains in the past are affecting the future or the present. The higher self is able to have desires and to have motivations that are not influenced by pains or fears. The higher self remembers what God is. The higher self knows that the physical world is a small, small, small part of reality, and that there's a much bigger reality. That is why we want to contact that higher self, because we want to live from that guidance. But here's the thing. That is who you are. That is what you are. You're already that. So it's really not a journey of discovering or becoming worthy or catching a glimpse, or we're not like throngs of fans lining the streets waiting for the queen to pass, or waiting for groupies waiting for the band to show up and be like, oh my god, I saw them, I got their autograph. It's not like that. You're not looking to get to catch a little glimpse of the self and be like, oh my god, I got a glimpse, yay. No, the self is what you are. And what you're looking to do is to shift out of what I would call the great forgetting. The fact that you have forgotten that this is who you are, and that you have forgotten that this is how you are, and this is what you're capable of, and this is how connected you are, and this is how peaceful and content and fulfilled and unafraid you are. You have forgotten that and you have gone and become identified with this thing. You don't walk around saying, I am the neuroreceptors. I detect dopamine. I detect adrenaline. I see what the five senses input. No, you do not mistake yourself for the organ called the brain. Yet somehow you have mistaken yourself for a for a process called thinking, for the place where this thinking occurs called the mind. You have said, I am what I think. I am this collection of thoughts. I am all of my memories and I am all of my concerns for the future. And that is what needs to be fixed. Okay, so I'm trying to keep it brief here. Are we gonna go just stop thinking, stop thinking, stop thinking? Ta-da! I'm the self. No. What? I mean, yes, but no, it doesn't happen quite so spontaneously. How I have learned to teach this is you are awareness. And you need to be aware of the fact that you are awareness. You need to be aware of the fact that you are the self, that the self is right there, that the state you're trying to achieve is already there, and that the help you're looking for is already available. But you need to become aware of this. You're not aware of this because you're aware of what is going on in your mind. You're aware of the thoughts, you're aware of the emotions, you're aware of the physical sensations, you're aware of the energies. That's where the awareness is. You only need one conscious moment of being aware of anything else to realize, wait, what? Wait, what? You don't have to stop the mind, but you can suddenly realize, I don't have to be aware of the mind all the time. And that is a little glimpse. And it takes a while. It takes practice. It takes a while. But after a while, you go, wait, mind? I can return my awareness to the mind. I can lift my awareness from the mind. One, I am not the mind. Two, I have a thing called awareness. Wait, am I awareness? Is awareness what I am? And then three, when I'm not aware of the mind, what am I aware of? Am I aware of my natural state? When you look at the sky, when you look up and you see cloud, one day you look beyond cloud. And when you look beyond clouds, you see sky. And you realize, oh shit, I have been looking at the wrong damn thing. And that's what it feels like when you practice daily, repeatedly, shifting your awareness from the thought stream. I am not the mind. I am not the five senses. I am not the body. I am this. This is it. This is it. It's like, it's weird. I mean, you've heard all of these metaphors and koans and all those kind of stuff. It's like shifting your awareness from all the things that are happening in the paint to the awareness of the existence of the canvas. That's what it feels like. It happens by wanting, asking, and allowing it to happen, by shifting your awareness from the mind and the thought stream for a few minutes every day. And when you do that, you become familiar with who you actually are. It is a weird thing to conceptualize, but you have forgotten you. You don't know who or what you are. And when you visit it, you go, oh, wait a minute. This is who I am. And then this person that you are takes charge of the system, takes charge of the mind and the instructions and the body and the energies and the emotions. And your life isn't veering out of control anymore because you have once again gripped the steering wheels of life. That's what it is. Anyhow, I hope this is helpful. I just want to tell you that yes, you can attain the self. You can find the self. You can act from the self, perceive from the self. You can have the experience in this moment that you are well, that you are undamaged, that you are pure, that you are pure potential, that you are connected with all of life, and that the creative force of that created this universe is flowing through your being. You can have that experience because it is not something that comes to visit. It is what you are. Like right now, you can have the experience of, oh, I can feel my heart beating, but you can only have that experience if you place your awareness on it. So you can have the experience of what you actually are if you allow your awareness to be aware of it. And that requires learning how to reclaim your awareness from where else it is scattered. And that is, I the simplest way to do it is meditation. Meditation, meditation, meditation. I have a bunch of meditations. You can check the description section of this video. There's some free meditations on my website. There's a meditation playlist on YouTube. Yeah, just they're all the meditations that I do are very simple, straightforward, and they involve just reclaiming, pulling back your awareness from where it's scattered, and being. If I had to recommend one meditation of mine, I would recommend experiencing being. It is just feel that. Feel the being that you are, the awareness that you are, the consciousness that you are, and feel how wonderful and well and okay it is. It is that simple. It is that simple. I hope this is helpful. Um, and yeah, I look forward to reading your comments on this. If I will try to give further details as best as I can based on what you ask and what you seem to need information on. Okay. So thank you for watching and have a wonderful day. Bye.